Nice. I like it.
Rachel, thanks for being on the program.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
This is exciting.
How did you get into theater?
So I was 2 or 3 when my mom introduced me to tap.
3? Okay, tap. Yeah.
And that was kind of my first experience with being on stage. I was a very shy child, but on stage, I was at home. So I started with tap, and I tapped all through my childhood. But my first experience in theater was kindergarten. We literally did musical after musical after musical. My first one I remember was Back at the Creek Bank when I was in kindergarten. I literally remember that musical, and I just loved it from then on. I was involved in CYT. I did a tour group with CYT called Coming Up Country, and that was really fun. We toured all around. I'm from San Diego originally, so we toured all around San Diego County, and I think we did some up in LA. We went to Disneyland, and we performed there. We went to our county fair and performed, so kind of all over the place. And that was elementary school, and then I just couldn't get enough of it. So I pretty much was involved in some form of theater through high school, and I was in drama in high school and performed a number of plays then.
What was your favorite in high school?
So we did one called You Can't Get There From Here.
Okay.
And it was so fun. I played a little old lady with one of my best friends in it, and it was a great part, and I had so much fun with it. We ad-libbed a lot. We had a director that just kind of let us go off the cuff and do our own thing, and that was by far my favorite. But we also did Anna Green Gables, which was fun, and we did Murder Takes a Veil, which was neat. But literally, I can't even remember all of the musicals that I did through my childhood. But I just loved it. I always have, and it was the funniest thing because I was such a shy child. But being on stage,
you could be different.
I could be different.
Different persona, right?
Yeah, and I was just totally comfortable, and my mom always was blown away by that.
But did you still revert back to the shy child when you left the stage?
Usually. Yeah, I think I grew out of it finally in my 20s, I would say, and became a little more extroverted. But yeah, I mean, pretty much all through my childhood, that was my outlet, was dance, and I did choir all through high school as well. We did ensemble.
So you did it all. You sang, you danced, you acted.
Yeah, a little bit of everything I did. And then I graduated high school, and I got out of practice, and I got out of...
Really?
Yeah,
why?
I don't know. I think just life happened. Yeah. I moved. I decided not to do a regular college education and started working. And I worked 60.
Did what?
I was a retail. I worked in retail management. I was 18, and I was a manager at a retail store that they ended up wanting to give me my own store at one point at age 19, and I didn't want that kind of responsibility, but I think I just had a real rigorous schedule. And after getting out of high school, I don't think I really knew where to go with it.
Sure.
So... yeah, I kind of got out of the groove of it, but I've always loved theater and the arts, and I would go to plays and musicals whenever I could, but it was this emptiness that I hadn't continued to audition and act and be in the arts in that way. So when I came to audition for Anne Frank, it was
this is not
much needed.
Yeah, but you've done stuff in between, right?
No?
How many years has that been in between then?
20.
20?
20.
You gave it up for 20 years? Oh, no.
I know. That's why I tell...
have some more fun, man.
That's why I tell all of the kids that were in the production, never stop. Never stop, because it's much harder to get back into it once you've stopped for a certain amount of time. Yeah. So... well,
that's a wild story, but it's not...
a long time.
It's not unique, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I get that life comes along and you get into other things.
Well, and I had 2 kids, and, you know, now I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and now that they're a little older...
keeps you busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exhausting. They're amazing. But it does. It takes up all of my energy. And now that they are a little older and my 5-year-old's in kindergarten, and I can start focusing more on myself again and the things that I like to do. And this is definitely one of the things that I absolutely love to do.
So do you think they'll get into it?
I don't know. My
daughter,
not their thing? Not yet, but I will say my daughter came to Anne Frank, one of our performances, a practice, and she sat in the balcony with my mom, and they brought her iPad just in case she was bored. She's 5.
Yeah, I get it.
No, she sat through the entire thing, completely mesmerized. They said she was absolutely entranced the entire production. Now, that could be that the production is really good, and it could be that she may really enjoy it. So,
because usually they don't sit that long.
No.
Usually it's about an hour, and after that, they just start getting fidgety.
Right.
And we get that.
Right, right. And they prepared for that.
Right.
But she was absolutely, she loved the entire thing.
There's definitely something different about live versus a TV,
Absolutely.
the iPad,
Absolutely.
You know, whatever.
Absolutely. And this theater is beautiful, and the set was beautiful. And but yeah, it was interesting that she liked it so much. Right. So maybe she may have some of that in her blood. We shall see.
Do you journal?
I used to.
Yeah.
I don't recently, although from this last show, Bonnie did give me a journal that I plan to use.
Right.
But I did at one time. I just haven't recently.
Yeah. Play instrument?
At one time, I did clarinet, and I dabbled a little with piano.
Yeah.
But
like most of us do.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that I continued.
But not a real love for it. It's,
Not instrument, no, just singing.
Sure.
I just have always loved choir, and our ensemble actually went to Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
Which was super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we performed there. I think I was a senior in high school, and that was incredibly memorable. So...
Well, New York in itself is a great time. It's a great place to visit. I don't want to live there, but it's a great place to visit.
Right. I love New York. That's one of my favorite destinations. And actually, my husband is from Pittsburgh, and he's never been to New York, which I think is just a crime.
He doesn't want to go. Nah.
I don't know. I think he's not really a big city kind of a guy.
Probably not. Yeah.
But I sure am. I would love to go back there because I love New York. And the theater, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, there's some great shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got to see a show on Broadway. And it's usually a musical, not always.
Yeah, I saw Lion King there, actually, when we went to Carnegie Hall. That was amazing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do. I'm so thankful for the opportunity that I've had to get to be back on this stage. And when I finally got up the guts to... my husband pushed me out the door for the Anne Frank audition.
Wow. And he actually encouraged you to do that?
Absolutely.
So did he see that you had that need or no?
Yes, for sure. He knew that I've always loved to do it. He had never seen me act.
Right.
But he knew that it was something that I felt a great need to do, but I just either hadn't had the time or, didn't have the...
Well, that's a blessing.
To go do it. So, he did. He really did.
Well, it's a blessing. I say that because not all the spouses are that supportive.
Right.
But we see the opposite. Usually it's that they get possessive. Like, you're not allowed to kiss a body on stage.
Right.
You're taking it too much. I want you home by 10.
Right.
And I get that. Yeah. It sounds kind of harsh, but, But,
well, and it is a lot of hours. And it's a lot of hours. It's a big time commitment. And Bonnie did warn me about that before the show because I do have little ones. But... Yeah. I am so beyond thankful that I ended up taking that, the understudy part and being involved in it because it's just so soul fulfilling for me.
And the story has a very special place, obviously, in people's hearts.
Very.
It's a powerful message. Powerful message, very well received, and it's a story that needs to be told.
Absolutely. I have some friends who came and saw it, and her grandparents were in the Holocaust. Wow. So, and her parents. So that would have been their parents. So one generation removed were in the audience also for one of the shows. Wow. And they said it was amazing. Wow. So, yeah, it definitely resonates for sure. And it is a story that needs to continue to be told. So, yes, I'm lucky to have been a part of it.
You say you sing. So what kind of music do you sing? I'm sure you do this in the car, right?
Right.
So, or the shower.
The top 40 hits.
Yeah.
No.
So is this the blend? Is this like 80s, 90s stuff? Is this
honestly,
current?
When we went to Carnegie Hall, our ensemble group was doing all kinds of songs from, musical theater songs to all of the classics you know, it was pretty intense. I kind of sang the gamut of different styles.
But your preference, what is your preference?
Oh.
If you had to pick one, not that you have to, but if you had to pick one. That's your go-to music. You know.
Love country.
Really?
Which is really funny because I'm not from here.
Yeah.
And in San Diego,
that probably wouldn't be the music to play. Right?
That was not a popular answer. But
you know what? We are getting older, and so...
But I've lived here for almost 11 years, and I feel pretty indoctrinated to Texas, so I am very fond of country music, honestly.
Of course, country music of now is not the same it was 20 years ago. It's changed a lot.
It's
almost like light rock it was, you know, from the 70s and 80s kind of stuff.
It's very
but it's okay.
Sometimes.
It is what it is, but...
Yeah, no, if I had to choose, I would say probably, yeah.
So how do you decompress? Obviously, if you got kids, you're plenty busy and some of that. So how do you decompress? What's your, you binge watch something? You know,
well,
your guilty
Game of
pleasure.
Thrones.
So you're a Game of Thrones. So you had to miss the Game of Thrones. This was the big Game of Thrones weekend, right?
Yes. No, we watched it. We watched it when we got home last night.
Did you? You recorded it?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. No, we love Game of Thrones. Anything like that, and I was actually just talking to my mom about Game of Thrones today. Yeah. It is a work of art, that show. It is just amazing how they put everything together the way they do with the cinematography and the acting, and it's just amazing. And it keeps us awake. And that's very important. That is very important for a mother of a 5 and a 3-year-old. If it does not keep us awake, we do not continue to watch it. So
you need to sleep. So
it has to be riveting.
Yes.
That's what we say. Is it riveting? Okay, we'll watch it. So yes, Game of Thrones, Stranger Things. We just finished Ozark. Yeah, honestly, there's not a lot of decompression time with little ones, but we do like to watch all of those kind of shows. And this, I mean, getting back into theater has been my new-found amazing decompression time. That's just for me.
Well, we were glad to have you.
Yeah.
There are plenty of places to do theater in Houston.
I'm excited.
Houston is blessed that way.
Yes.
There's plenty of places to do stuff.
Absolutely.
And plenty of them that need volunteers. Absolutely. Because, we're all nonprofits. We need the help.
Right. So. No, I love that I've gotten involved in this again, and with you guys and Stage Right, and it's been an amazing experience so far. So I'm excited. I was sad that Anne Frank was done, but I'm also excited for the next thing.
Sure. Yeah.
So
You remember a tap? Do you still remember your tap?
Heck yeah, I do.
Well, that's Thoroughly Modern Millie. You got to have tap dancers. It's an awesome tap show.
I know, I saw that.
I know. We saw with Sutton Foster, and the whole typewriter scene where they're all it's so fun.
I know. I'm kind of excited about that one too. Yeah.
So
I'd have to brush up on my tap skills. It's been a while, but I think I could. Yeah, that would be fun.
Dinah's pretty good too. Yeah. She gets people going. She pick her dancers and get them going.
Yeah, no, that would be a blast. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So what's on your bucket list? I mean, you got back into it now, so surely there must have things that you're interested in doing.
Yes, travel. I mean, I love traveling and seeing new places. I want to take my family and travel and I just love experiencing new cultures. And I would love for my kids to have that experience also, just to
I think it's important.
Broaden your horizons.
Absolutely. And
I think that it's invaluable to travel. So that's a big one whenever we get the time to do that. Honestly, I just love doing things that push me out of my comfort zone.
Really?
And things that scare me. Not necessarily adrenaline. Not like jumping off a bridge necessarily, because that is not on my bucket list. But things that I say, ooh, that's going to make me uncomfortable, but I'm going to go do it.
So you're looking for growth opportunities,
Absolutely.
basically. Which is interesting. Yeah.
And I feel like that's just part of life. And,
yes, it is. Yes.
And part of the fabric of who we are as people, to be able to
keep things interesting.
Yeah.
Don't let it get boring.
Yeah,
or that.
Exactly. So I do have a pretty extensive bucket list actually, and it usually involves things that, I would never normally do.
Right.
So, trying to think of what else.
Where would you travel to? I mean, you don't have to go far to go. There are some relatively close places.
I have a U.S. bucket list, and then I have an international bucket
Okay,
list.
let's do the international one.
So
We'll come back to the US.
international,
Yeah.
Greece
Greece
is top, and I have
Why Greece?
I've wanted to go there since I was probably a teenager, before I did any traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my aunt telling me she was this world traveler that had been everywhere. She married an Englishman and she lived there for a while. And I remember her telling me Greece was one of her favorite places to visit because the light just made everything look different. And it was just this glow about everything in Greece that she just loved. It was one of her favorite places. And ever since I heard her say that, I had wanted to visit, and then subsequently, I always hear people talk very fondly of Greece and seeing pictures and in movies and things like that. So I've wanted to do that for quite a while. And I think it may be in the works for a big birthday of mine coming up.
Hint, hint, hint. Have you heard that?
So,
did you talk to Patrice Annie about that? Because she's Greek, and they do go there every now and then. Some tips.
She gave me some tips of where to go and the different islands. And so she's a great resource for that. But that's probably top on my international. We've done Italy, and we love that. And we're European, so we've done that many times. Ireland and all that. Scotland was really fun too. And we have relatives over there. But Greece.
So you have an excuse to go there. You've got relatives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But otherwise, just tropical places internationally. I like to go to places that are not well known, but have a little bit of a history in my life, maybe. Yeah. Whether I saw it on a movie or, heard about it from my grandparents or whatever it might be. Turkey actually was one of my grandmother's top spots, and she's been everywhere. So that's on there. And then nationally, I really am desperate to go to Nashville.
You should go. It's a good time. Yeah. We did go to Grand Ole Opry.
Did you?
Yes. But that's not where the action's all downtown Nashville.
Right, I'm sure. It's probably like Austin that way.
Yeah.
In the downtown area. But I think I've been to all the other states, honestly. Wow. How did you get to all the other states? We had a family business growing up that we produced and developed miniature collectible lighthouses called Harbor Lights. And with that business, my immediate family, my grandparents were the owner, my mom was the CEO, and every summer, our little family of 4, my sister, dad, mom, and I would go travel the United States around the coast and take pictures of the lighthouses. Right. So basically, for our company, we got to see the majority of the United States. Wow. And as a child, I didn't appreciate that at all. Right. Of course not. It was definitely more of a burden at that point than... But now, looking back, I mean, it was an amazing opportunity. So, and other than that, we love to travel as a family. So, we would go up to Vancouver and England because we did have relatives there, places like that. But, yeah, I think I have pretty much been to all of the United States. No, some of you have done quite a bit of travel. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we love it. So, do you have a favorite state? Ooh, how can I not say Texas? Well, you live here, though. But you live here. I'm like, come on. Yeah. I mean, I'm from California. I was born and raised there. Yeah. There are good things and bad things about that state as well. It's gorgeous. Yes, and I miss it. I miss a lot of things about it. I love walking San Francisco. It's a great walking town. Can't afford to live there. San Diego? No, I've heard some wonderful things about San Diego. That's where I was born and raised. Wow. So... Yes, I love it. And my husband jokes and says he hates to travel with me because I'm from San Diego, because he thinks that how can you compare most anything to, you grew up in paradise and now I have to, Yeah. So, but a favorite state, I mean, I love Texas and I love California. I don't know if I could pick a favorite. I just love Texas because it's warm. The people here are so genuine and kind, And when I first moved here, I've lived here for almost 11 years. I just remember thinking how at home I felt so quickly. Even though I grew up in such a different place, I feel like I was meant more to be here than there.
That's kind of, I know, I really never thought about that, but because when you go different places, not knock on any states or people, because all people are interesting and they have their own culture, and you have to appreciate that. Right. But I always think I can go into the largest supermarket around here, and you'll be greeted.
Exactly.
Genuinely.
Yes.
You could go into the smallest place and say New York or something like that, and they won't lift up.
They won't even look at
you.
They
won't look at you. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And my relatives even comment about that when they visit here, how friendly and kind people are, and they open doors for you, and they let you go first on the road. It's just it's a completely different mentality.
Yes.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
Now, to be fair, once you get to know people in the places, they don't care. Everything's it's fine. But everyone has their own little culture. Well, Vermont, for instance, as long as you're a guest in Vermont, hey, we love you. You know, but if you or something, you know, okay, we're fine. And but then, then things can change.
Yeah.
You know, so depending on your like Maine, I have a friend who
I love Maine.
It's beautiful. Love Maine. Love the food.
Lots of lighthouses there.
Lots of lighthouses. Yes, lots of lighthouses. Yeah, I think I found the Windows one there. Yes, because I'm going to hear that looks suspiciously like my Windows one screensaver, and I think that's it. That's a screensaver.
That's funny.
But yes, it is different. But you're not from here. We're glad to have you. Glad to have you visit.
Right.
But you may live here 20 years, but you're still not. You're not one of us.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, and I think Texas now is such a melting pot too.
It is a melting pot. I mean, it's hard to find anybody that's actually from Texas.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And you have a lot of that in California too. Honestly, I was one of the only native Californians that I knew in my 20s.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people moving in there, but it's still not that. Warm, friendly.
Yeah. It's just different culture. Yeah. Different culture.
Yeah.
So you've been to Hawaii then?
I have.
Yeah.
I've been to Kauai. And it was beautiful. But
right here.
Honestly, very similar to San Diego.
Yeah.
But beautiful.
Yeah.
And what other states? Oh, Colorado. My brother goes to school there. Gorgeous. We actually, we considered moving there. Love Colorado. Montana. Absolutely gorgeous. All those big plain kind of states. Yeah, there's so much beauty in our country.
Absolutely.
In just our country. I mean, you don't even have to go far.
No.
And we took a road trip last summer with the kids. They were pretty young.
Yeah.
But we wanted to show them. I grew up doing road trips.
Right.
And we wanted to show them, this is our country. This is how far away we are. We're not just 2 hours away on a plane. This is... these are the roads you have to travel to get to Bunny's house or wherever it might be. And my husband's family is in Pittsburgh. So we're kind of in the middle. But it was great, and they loved it. And they got to see a lot of the United States that they had never seen before.
Right.
So, and we're doing it again this summer. So, yeah.
So what do they like about the road trip the most?
Honestly, I think if you asked my 5-year-old, she would say... Well, I got them treat bags. So every hour or two, I'd pull out a treat bag and they'd have their name on it. She probably would say that. But it's just the family time that we get uninterrupted.
Nice. Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Can't go anywhere.
Nope.
You're there stuck together. And, they would play on their iPad some of the time or whatever. But it's just that uninterrupted family time that... I think it's really neat.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and just going to these different restaurants and seeing the different place, the way that other people live.
Right.
It's not all like this.
Yeah. You have favorite topics or for books that you like to read, or you into reading?
Honestly, I don't have a lot of time to read. You don't have time to read. I will be honest with you. If I have a couple free hours, it's probably going to be watching Game of Thrones or whatever favorite show we're watching at the time. But I love self-help kind of books and things that expand the person that I am. But maybe one of these days.
Well, I don't know about the should. I mean, I'm not a big reader either. I like to read uninterrupted. So if I'm going to read something, I want to read it cover to cover,
right.
straight.
Right.
Because I don't want to have to read a chapter or to forget what I just read before to have to do it again. If I'm going to do it, I want to read it straight through.
Yeah, and I have no time for doing that.
Yeah.
Such thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mostly just TV shows.
Yeah.
In hour increments. So
So
that I don't have to stay awake.
Or two or three.
Although I was not falling asleep last night for that. Are you caught up with Game of Thrones?
I've never even seen it. Okay, so the way it works with me is I learn about all these different series, and long after they're canceled, I'll go, "Ooh, that was awesome!" And everybody's looking at you like,
done.
"What?" It's like we saw that like Toy Story, for instance. Someone said, "Oh, what a great start." 10 years after they come up with the first Toy Story, I see it.
They're coming out with a new one,
4 or 5,
yes,
whatever. It's like,
4 or 5.
what a wonderful, and everybody's going like, really? You just saw it?
Well, at least you eventually get to it. You'll eventually get to Game of Thrones. It's
It's interesting. Well, what the interesting thing is, like the reason we do this is film. Not that I don't know that necessarily be a good storyteller, but it does intrigue me. So because it's almost. I would say it's a lost art form, but I don't think so. I think there are people out there, storytellers. We just have to do it in film form.
Right.
Yes, we cut a little faster than they did in years past. Yeah. Okay, that's the way things are.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So, are you a storyteller? Because you must see these. You know what gauges you, what doesn't.
You know what I love to do is, I love to tell stories about life situations. So my mom tells me that I'm one of the greatest storytellers that she knows, and she loves my stories. But it's usually just something that just happened that she thinks is just so hilarious.
Right.
And it's just happened, so it's fresh in my mind.
Right.
And I guess I can reenact it.
Yeah, but what makes it good? Because just because it happened is not enough. I mean, people can still screw up a punchline. I can do that all day long. Sure. But what is it that makes you embellish it?
I don't feel like I do.
You just make it authentic, or you just good at mimicking? What is it about
I think
storytelling?
It's probably that I'm good at mimicking, and that I can put a lot of the emotion into that situation.
Right.
So that she's there with me.
Right.
And I think the only reason why I say that is because she's probably said those exact words to me, is she just loves hearing me tell a story because she's right there with me.
Right.
So I don't know how I do that. Honestly, I don't know.
You must practice, though. Don't you practice?
No. Yeah. No.
You don't practice voices or accents? I mean,
I used to.
Right.
As a child, for sure I did.
Yeah.
I would practice different accents, and I would reenact different crazy... Actually, growing up before the internet, before YouTube and all those things, my girlfriends and I, our favorite activity was to make up these plays.
Okay.
And I think I was in junior high when we would do news broadcasts.
Yep.
And then I would make up these scripts.
Right.
And we would just ad-lib most of it. We'd have costumes, characters, and the whole shebang, and we would make these movies.
Wow.
And I still have a couple of them hiding in my attic somewhere that I think my husband has seen, possibly, but they're pretty funny. And I was usually kind of because I was in drama and I love that kind of thing, I was kind of the leader of doing those. But yeah, I've always loved to do that.
I sense a Mrs. Maisel coming here.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you watch that? Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh my goodness!
I love that show, actually.
Yeah. So, have you done stand up?
No. Oh God, no.
Would you want to?
No. I don't think that I would want it all on I don't want the responsibility of it being all on me. Yeah. I like even a small cast of characters for us to support each other.
Right.
And I do love doing comedy, but I don't think that it's never drawn me. Mm-hmm. I can appreciate it for sure. Right. But I definitely like the support of my cast members.
The group. Yes, the group. And you had an ensemble.
Effort.
This just really was truly an ensemble.
It was an amazing,
you guys are just, you're just on. So
it was absolutely amazing ensemble.
Yeah. But like I said, every experience is different.
Right.
You can never, and I remember, I don't know if it was John Guest or some of that, you can never recapture the experience. You try, you never do. It's different.
Well, and
you'd be good.
And with each group, you're going to have different dynamics.
Absolutely.
And different personalities and things that people bring to something that others might not. So, yeah, I think that it was a very unique group of people, for sure, that came together.
Yeah.
Yes, I will miss them.
And you have some very special folks for your directors. I mean, Meredith's incredible hard work and very creative. Bonnie is just incredible, a master.
Well, I told them, you have now spoiled me because this is my first adult theater experience. And this is all that I know.
Right.
And they're absolutely phenomenal.
And what we tell people is, because people that started to get back into the theater again, is you need to try all the different theaters.
Right.
But don't judge in the sense that this is better or not, but that it's a different experience. It's going to be different.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because everyone has different resources.
Right.
They're different people.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Houston is still a relatively small theater community.
Yeah.
People know each other. Or know of each other. Let's put it that way.
And that can be a good thing or a bad thing, I suppose.
Well, I mean, that's what people don't always appreciate is that if they get a bad rep, you know what? It gets around.
Sure. Well, I mean, they're only themselves to blame for that, I would think.
They don't get that. People don't get that. It's a lot like, Facebook, any social media.
Sure.
People think they can say whatever they want to without repercussions.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, the repercussions may not be when you think they are.
True.
They may not be immediate.
That is very
They may be years later.
Right.
I mean, I heard there was some Facebook app that could assess whether or not you'd be a good employee for their company.
Oh.
An automated app. So all they do is just go through all your posts and, not as a person, I'm sure they do that too, but it can automatically grab all the stuff, all the pictures, and figure out this person is would be good for us
I'm
and not.
I'm not surprised. I mean, that's the world that we live in now.
Yes.
It is, but...
It's 1984, but we've given up all our liberties voluntarily.
That's right. That's right.
Which is interesting.
It is. It is. No, and that was one of the reasons why I did want to participate, because I am excited to be in this world again. And like you said, everybody kind of knows each other, and for better or for worse, that's this community. But I'm very excited to be a part of it. So.
And there's plenty of opportunities. I didn't even know there was an independent film group that's pretty hot in Houston.
Yeah.
So that there's independent film going on, and of course now that there's some streaming media, they're starving for content.
Oh yeah.
So they're looking for people. It's like we need people to do things. Good content. I mean, there's plenty of bad content out there too. And we get approached.
Content.
Well, we get approached by a lot of people saying, "Oh, we've got this stripper road."
Yeah.
I'm not trying to discourage them.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think a lot of times people think I write this play and it's going to Broadway. Is that no way? Hold on, that's not how it works.
Now, do you guys do original?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay.
But what we would like to. But the thing is, we need a lower risk environment. So again, I mean, people go up and say, "Hey, Rachel, I got a script. I want you to do it."
Sure.
So okay, so you want me to risk $30,000 of my money to do your script?
Right.
And it may be wonderful.
Sure.
And that's the first part. It may be wonderful, but even if it's wonderful, I still got to figure out a way to get people here.
Right.
And if they've never even heard of it, how do I get them here? How do you convince them? That is the hardest thing to do, because you think you've got their trust until the next show, and you can lose it just like that, because they have plenty of options.
Sure.
As you saw when you're in the audience, how many phones were on when we were getting that scene? I was like, really? But we used to have a theater etiquette in part of the pre-show.
Yeah.
The problem is the people that need to be watching are on their phone. So what's the point?
That's true.
I mean, you got to try different things. We've tried it where we fake breaking a cell phone, that kind of stuff, and it'll get them for less.
Well, Bonnie was going to come out and tell them that the Nazis were going to come get them if they use their phone again. So you try that, see how that goes.
But it's up there. That is part. So, but it has come in useful. There was a show where we lost power. So everyone turned on their phones.
Oh, wow.
And we continued.
Interesting.
For about 15 to 20 minutes. Wow. And then when the lights came back on, they could turn them off. So
see, there are definitely positives and negatives to
like I was talking with Dan about our greeting, if you will. And I know that originally they wanted it to be a little more out there. Putting the flag.
Oh, right.
But that was negged.
Right.
But I think actually this worked out better.
Yeah.
Because how do dictatorships start? We're here to help you.
That's right.
Hey, with smiley face.
Welcome.
Yeah, well, welcome. Come on in.
Come on in.
Your train's not running on time. We can fix that. No problem.
That's right.
Oh, you know what? We don't want you to read that book. It's a security issue.
That's
but
right.
let's take that. And
That's
one
right.
by one, your rights get eroded until you have none.
Yep, you got that stamp on the passport and
That's right.
ushered on in. Yeah, that's true. No, and that was. Well, you said that a couple people.
From most, like say, 98%.
Yeah.
In fact, people didn't get their things, so they
they
actually went
wanted
back
it
to get a
stamped.
stamp. They went
Yeah.
back to get a stamp.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that and I love her little pre-show that she does. I guess that's a Bonnie thing that she
What's
does
that?
the little in the aisle.
Sometimes so like that. I think the
Just
more
to
you
get
engage,
everyone
just to get people,
into it.
into
I love
the,
that.
yeah.
Well, and that's similar to I love those mystery dinner theater kind of immersive experiences with theater. I love that.
They can be fun, but they are hard as heck to do.
Oh yeah.
Because there is a formula.
Sure.
And I'm not sure. I mean, I've seen the formula. It doesn't mean I always get it to work all the time. Right. Generally, the environment's pretty noisy.
Yeah.
Well,
if they're eating or
they're eating and noisy, and so. But it is different. But it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. For
absolutely. Sure. You've gotten now into country music. Got a favorite country singer?
I love Zach Brown. I love Zach Brown Band.
Right.
And the Dierks Bentley, Luke Bryant kind of people. I feel like I've seen almost all of them live. I love live music.
So you go live. Well, then you need to come here. We get a lot of them here.
That's right, you do. I forget you guys do that.
A lot of them also hit the circuit where they're going do-si-do.
Yes.
But there you get alcohol. But here, if you just want the pure music experience, not I get to eat and drink, and by the way, I'll peripherally listen to music, and you come here. Yeah. Mostly because it's very intimate space. If they want,
absolutely.
You want to go make money. They don't make money here. They go make money at Toyota Center.
Sure.
But you want to, like we had Vince Gill, I think I told you. But he wasn't here for him.
Right.
He was here to support his composer friends that I even heard of. But
that's so cool.
2 shows that day, completely different. Because this is more like a jam session for them. They told stories between songs, which are funny as all get out.
Yeah.
And that's what they do.
That's so neat. That's great that you guys offer that. Yeah, I need to check out.
Just check it out. But it tends to be more country. I mean, just because where we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get some rock bands through, but mostly it's country.
No, and I love those smaller venues like the House of Blues.
Yes.
We're near to the Pavilion, so I have gone to see some shows at the Pavilion, but it's just so big that it's hard to get, but it can still be good. And of course the rodeo kind of performers. But yeah, I love that more intimate, smaller venue.
So throughout your life, I mean, you've had all these different travel experiences. You've probably seen lots of different people, which probably gave you a lot of fodder, I should say.
Yes,
people to mimic and stuff, that perspective. That one. But you as a person, what demons? And how do you fight them?
Oh, wow. So I told you that I like to do things that are outside my comfort zone. Right. So I would say that's probably one of my biggest demons is my self-doubt.
Doubt?
Yeah. Just not being confident in what I know or who I am or any of those things. I would say self-doubt.
So you see these almost like challenges to yourself to prove something to yourself?
Kind of. To prove something to myself and to push myself. Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically. Yeah, I guess it would be.
Did it start at a certain time of your life or no?
I think it's always been there.
Really?
Yeah. I can't think of a certain time where it hit me or anything. No. I think that it's always, from that shy little kid who clung to my mom's skirt at any social occasion. I think it's who it's in my DNA. So I think I've always kind of had to fight that.
It seems to be it seems a common story, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. Because I could say I feel the same way. Yeah. A lot of people could.
Sure.
Externally, people look at you've traveled all these different places.
Right.
You guys had your own business. Look how many different how many different experiences. Most people never they're lucky if they leave here. Right. One place at most of their time.
I know.
But there's still this part about who am I?
Right.
Am I good enough?
Right.
I guess what I was really trying to ask you is that you always felt that way, or is it something that people would say, whether it was a peer group or something like that?
No, and it's funny that you say that because it's always been inside me, but people, my friends, people who know me were very confused by that because they didn't see that from me.
Right.
And to give an example, even to this day, I started up this moms group in our neighborhood, and we're up to 300 members, and we do all kinds of play dates and story time, and we've grown the group to where I have coordinators for all these different events, and it's been amazing. And I created it when I first moved to this neighborhood and didn't have any friends. And so really, from that need, I wanted to help other women who stay at home or who might have that need also to connect. And just today, I posted some article about how we need to be inclusive and be that one person who goes and shakes the hand of someone who they don't know and who makes them feel at home. So from my peer group, no one would ever see that self-doubt or the demons.
But it almost seems like you use this as the drive, if your drive to help others with your demons that no one sees.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you for help getting, because, I mean, we think about it, we actually live in a quite lonely society. We become more and more isolated because we're self-isolating with our phones or technology.
We isolate ourselves.
And we think that we are connecting.
Yep.
And maybe in a certain way we are.
Sure.
But
on some level.
In some level, but probably not in the ways that we really need.
Right. Right. And I think that in and of itself, I mean, humanity just, we need that. That connection with people, not on our phones.
Not that they're all bad.
Preferably.
I'm not trying to say the phones are all bad. I just, it's just,
But it's that
more to
face-to-face personal connection.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's interesting questions. I love it. Deep. Really
well, but think about it. Well, if you think
down in there.
You're a busy person.
Yes.
Which means that, just like most people are, you're just busy with things have to get done. I got A, then B, then C, then D, and if they don't get done, then something else gets messed up, right? In the schedule, right?
That's right.
So we're so busy doing that we really have time to stop and think.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Or take care of ourselves. And then sometimes the way to self-medicate is not think about it, right? Just get busy.
You just push it down
just keep pushing down there, get busy, go do something, and won't think about it until later on.
That's right.
But we still have to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eventually.
No, I think that's a huge part of growing as a person is to be honest about that kind of stuff. So,
if you had a chance to give you a note to self, basically talk to your younger self 20 years ago, what would you tell her?
Ooh. This might make me teary. Okay. 20 years ago, I just graduated high school. I had a lot of the self-doubt stuff happening. Constant. I would just say, you can do anything. See?
Yeah. But would you have believed you?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But that's definitely what it would be, is you are
can do
capable.
This. Yes.
You can do anything. You don't have to be afraid.
Yeah.
You can do it.
But you can look. But can you step back objectively at the things you've done to help people? And I do think you've helped people because, like I said, if you've organized 300 people, to help each other, you've helped people.
Yeah.
Can you objectively say that? Look,
I hope so.
I have done something. Do you ever get surprised by people saying thank you for doing this?
Yes.
And it would be from somebody you don't expect.
Yeah. Well, and just today on that article that I had posted on my mom's group, and a couple people chimed in and said, you're so amazing that you have done this. And it takes me aback sometimes. I don't easily accept compliments.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's probably where that self-doubt stuff starts.
Thank you very much. We kind of discount it because, it's okay, fine.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
You're just saying that to be nice. Yeah,
yes,
we hear that too. Yeah. Sometimes it is tough, and it's tougher. It's just something just say thank you.
Right,
right. Thank you for noticing. And the interesting thing, as you probably saw it at the play as well, is that for most people, although I'm saying it's enjoyable because this was different in that sense.
Right.
But for some people, it is a seminal moment. in their lives.
Sure.
And it changes them forever. Yeah. And you don't know that,
Right.
And they'll say thank you later on, and they're like, for what?
Right.
What was it?
Right.
I did a show,
Right.
And for
You've
a lot of us, it is just that. It's
Sure.
like a gig, it's a show, and that's fine.
Sure.
And it's cathartic for some of us.
Right.
But some of it changes lives, and you're surprised by who it changes.
Yeah. And that's
and it's very gratifying. It's very humbling. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
To do that,
well, and one of the actors, John Guest,
yes.
had said that I think he told you maybe that he feels like it's kind of community service.
Absolutely.
Which I've never looked at it that way. But
I think a lot of people don't. I think you don't have to necessarily. Right. I mean, it can be very much. It's all about me. Right. I'm only get the parts if I'm the lead, sure. And there can be certainly an aspect of that, but. If you a wonderful train that comes by every now and then, we were surprised we didn't get that many trains during Diary, right?
I didn't notice.
We got a few, but not too many.
I didn't notice them during crucial points where you would say, "Oh my gosh, there's the train."
Right.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
And actually, some points it might have been.
It may have actually
for the story.
That's right, because there were quite a few trains going through there.
Yeah. But no, absolutely. But we do think of that as a community service because the lifeblood of the community are nonprofits, and we're one too. But I mean, we don't feed people, so sometimes I feel bad. We're not a food bank. We're not, we're not making micro loans. But we're nurturing the spirit. Absolutely. At least we try to.
Absolutely.
The best way to try to nurture the spirit.
Absolutely. And there can be.
And sometimes we doubt that, and just like I said, the doubt. Sometimes we doubt that, but then you get the story.
Right.
Somebody will tell you, and you go. Wow.
Right. Well, and even if it's just for you providing me with that space.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something too, that you're providing these actors with a place to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
We appreciate you.
Well, no. Well, thank you. Thank you for telling. Come back. Bring the kids. Make it a family event because it's important.
I know.
As family. It's really fun as family.
Absolutely.
As well. It can be. Okay.
Yes.
It can be.
Right. Maybe not.
Maybe not yet. It could be, but it could be. Yeah.
Annie and all these great.
Yeah. Oh, well, best Christmas pageant. What's up? They come in there and you're gonna put a rowdy kids out. Absolutely. Just be yourselves and
you'll fit right in. Yeah, they actually love coming to the theater. I brought them a couple times during practices, and they run around and they loved it. And I wanted them to come here because I needed them to see what I was doing during the evenings that I wasn't with them, and they loved it. So between them, their support, and my husband's support, it's been an amazing couple months, that's for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rachel, thank you so much for being here. We'll have to do it again.
Much.
Please come back again, but please check out all the other places. There's plenty of theater out there.
Yes.
But come back for Thoroughly Modern. We need tappers.
I'll be back for sure.
Okay. Question we ask everyone: if heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
Well done. You did okay for yourself. Well done. Yeah.
Do you think he'd tell you a story about something you helped someone you didn't know about?
Maybe so. Yeah.
Probably make you tear up?
Probably.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Just that the time that I was here was spent.
It was well worthwhile, yes. You made a difference. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.